Hi everyone, I'm Josh Carving and welcome to another Death Battle prediction video, but first, Terminator vs. Robocop. Let's start by saying that by my original analysis, Robocop is indeed the correct choice as the winner. Now, let's actually get shredding then. Firstly, the Terminator should not have had the plasma rifle. It actually goes against the rules of time travel that are established in the Terminator series. That said, with the plasma rifle, Robocop should have stood no chance whatsoever. The plasma that it shows him tanking is actually standard laser. Plasma is a whole different beast and would tear through Robocop like butter. So, overall, in the way the fight should have been, I was indeed wrong. I actually didn't know the cartoon existed, and had forgotten the bullet catch feat, which feels like an outlier compared to his usual speed, but the cartoon was where he got most of his strength feats, though, such as throwing the car. Several. And on the durability issue, Robocop is inconsistent at best, falling off a skyscraper and exploding only to get up 1 second, then getting hit in the face with a lead pipe and recoiling in pain the next. It makes for very difficult research, but I agree with them going by the higher end feats. In addition, when they said the Terminator being crushed by the press was a show of how much stronger the Robocop was, that was a very unfair comparison. The Terminator was half blown apart and made no effort to stop the press. I'm pretty convinced that a fresh Terminator could have managed similar results. But with that said, the animation. I'm really hot or cold about this fight. Everything I either loved or hated. The Terminator model was fantastic. The Robocop model looked like you'd punch it and cut your hand on polys. The voice acting was great, but the lip syncing was probably the worst the show has seen. The fight choreography was awesome, but the environment's textures were regularly flickering, which was distracting at times. The fight progression was stellar, with the fight going from the street to the buildings on the roof and back down and so forth, but the camera work was very confusing at points. Like, for example, I know I wasn't the only one who was confused when the Terminator shot down the Robocop, who was flying right next to him at one point, only for the Terminator to have to jump off a building to reach him. I felt like I missed something that was in between. That said, I did genuinely enjoy the fight and the episode as a whole. I hope that the current animation setup allows for more time and quality for the fights, because when I researched some of the new 3D animators' work, it was really, really good. His name's Torian Crawford, and as I saw in some of his works, he takes a lot of inspiration from my favorite animator overall, Montione. On the topic of the animator setup, this is an absolutely amazing moment for Death Battle. It's something I've wanted them to do for a long time now. I believe that there are now 3 animators, Derek, Mali, and Torian. We're finally seeing a truly efficient system where hopefully Mali and Derek alternate turns while Torian gets the time he needs to make amazing 3D battles. I hope that while Mali finishes his fights and the new episode is posted, Derek is already halfway through his own animation, allowing basically 6 weeks of work to be given to us every 3 weeks. We're going to get basically 5 times as much Death Battle now, considering the wait between Fox vs. Bucky and Terminator vs. Robocop was like 16 weeks long. That's almost 4 months. Enough on that, though. I'll finish that by saying that I'm very excited for more chances to see awesome fights and upload my own content more consistently, though it might cut back on some other videos that I was planning. Oh well. Now, on to the next fight. Luigi vs. Tails. Okay, so at first I was less than enthused for this fight, thinking that it'll be just a rehash of Mario vs. Sonic, but the official Death Battle research team stated that the iconic items from their respective series would not be used. So no fire flower, electricity bubble, etc. Then I also recalled that several of Luigi's unique abilities gave him more of a fighting chance than his brother had against Sonic. I'll also stay away from any notion that Luigi would win simply because Mario lost, because, hey, if I'm going to bother researching it, I'm going to explain who I think would win. No point mentioning the patterns. So, let's go. We're going to start with Luigi, because Death Battle already posted his video intro. I can't say I was enthused about them including Super Smash Bros., but whatever. Luigi, at 26 years of age, is Mario's spotlightless brother. Not that he really cares. He prefers to do things out of the goodness of his heart, not for any accolades. Despite being in Mario's shadow for pretty much his entire life, he's saved Mario a few times, earning the likely already gained respect from his brother. Luigi is a shy coward at heart, not used to facing his fears, though in Luigi Mansion and Dark Moon he did overcome this. Luigi brings to battle the ultimate weapon for French-made Ghostbusters, the Poltergust 5000. The weapon is a vacuum cleaner modified to hunt ghosts, and it can use several elemental medallions to cast fire, ice, and water spirits. This falls under the clause of the no outside help rule, where the attack can be replaced by a standard attack, as like Batman's Bat Transponder. The vacuum's also strong enough to suck up gold coins that are pretty huge, with gold being one of the heaviest elements on the planet. He can also use the Vanish Flower to go intangible, passing through walls and enemies. Luigi also has the Thunder Hand, an ability given to him by a god. Lightning is now considered Luigi's answer to Mario's fire, and he has a number of electric-based moves. He can give electric charged bitch slaps, fire electricity as an AoE from above, or do a Shoryuken style hit that shoots lightning into the sky which strikes at flying enemies. Mr. L also has a trusty hammer, capable of shrinking things he hits as well as smacking energy projectiles, dissipating weak ones while reflecting stronger ones. He's capable of several mobility attacks as well, including the super high spring jump, mid-air flutter, the side blasting green rocket, and the massively powerful Luigi uppercut. Now, as much as I dislike using the Smash Bros. In a death battle, the negative zone is one of Luigi's best abilities in this fight, creating a large aura around Luigi while he dances inside. The aura has several different effects. It negates aerial travel beyond a simple jump, it puts enemies to sleep, damages consistently, slows them down to extremely slow levels, and makes enemies taunt somehow. Not exactly sure how that works, but basically any enemy caught in there is at Luigi's mercy. But no, the negative zone actually pales in comparison to something Luigi has that's so powerful, I can absolutely guarantee that Death Battle will not include it. The Chaos Heart is a source of power that Luigi is the greatest host for, prophesized by Dimentio. Unlocking its power, Luigi is fully capable of erasing dimensions. Luigi only not doing that because he's a nice guy who isn't much up for that shit. But in a death battle, that reservation is removed. Some may say that Luigi can't use it on his own because Dimentio had to brainwash him before merging with both of them to form Super Dimentio, but that's only because Dimentio can't use it at all without Luigi. So yeah, I'm of pretty strong belief, though, that Wiz and Boomstick are going to veto Luigi nixing a dimension to drop Tails. So now for my 3 standard stats, with 2 newcomer stats of intellect and experience. Luigi is extremely strong, capable of creating small earthquakes with his hammer. He can also put down huge threats like Cackletta, Bowser, and Dimentio. His durability is off the charts too, capable of surviving the Chaos Heart exploding, 1,000-foot falls, being landed on by an overweight Italian brother who also made the 1,000-foot fall, and he can tank hits from lightning, explosives, fire, and much more. For speed, Luigi is about as fast as Mario, if not a bit faster, but he has lower acceleration and traction. Reflex-wise, he can jump and react to lasers, lightning, and cannonballs with ease. For Luigi's intellect, he's shown to be extremely smart, especially in Mario is Missing, where he knows all this stuff about various landmarks. In addition, now with the release of Dr. Luigi, he's got a PhD. He knows his shit. Experience is actually something Luigi excels in, and at 26 years of age, he's got about 25 years of combat experience. One might question this, but in short, Luigi and Mario went back in time, fought alongside their 1-year-old selves, the babies in combat since they could walk. They taught their younger selves how to fight, and Luigi has shown himself to be a master baby thrower. In addition, it seems like there's an extra durability feat there in Luigi being immune to time paradoxes. Now, just to clear something up for Death Battle, doesn't really seem like they usually care about this. They don't usually try to prove it. They just kind of use them, but there's some proof in the Mario and Luigi series that loops several of the games into the mainstream canon. At the Woohoo University, there is a secret room that shows several question mark boxes from various games in the Mario series, blatantly labeled with the game of origin. Among them are Super Mario 64, Paper Mario, and Super Mario Bros. This puts even the Paper Mario series into the fight. Among his feats, Luigi has defeated a dimension-controlling Dimentio, conquered his fears and defeated an army of ghosts led by King Boo, and defeated Bowser, all of which were on his own. Alongside his brother, he defeated Cackletta, the Shroob Invasion, prevented an Age of Darkness by destroying the Dark Core bug, and I think most impressive of all, Luigi manages to keep his girlfriend from getting kidnapped weekly. Miles Tails Prower is a young fox and best friend of Sonic the Hedgehog. He was always picked on for his namesake twin Tails, despite the fact that they give him plenty of benefits. After meeting Sonic and basically living out the whole follow the cool guy routine, Tails became a steadfast friend of Sonic's and has been one of the most popular characters in the series since. He's the brains of Sonic's team and has created plenty of machines, though in all likelihood only a few will actually get used here. The biggest machine that Tails is likely to get is the Cyclone. It's a modified version of his Tornado biplane that can turn into a small mech. And when I say small, I really mean it. The main part of the mech is only a bit over a meter long. That said, though, this thing packs a huge punch. It fires energy projectiles at a quick rate, capable of destroying robots that were created by Gun and blowing massive steel doors right off. They can also boost small distances and use jets to hover briefly. Its speed is an issue, though, as it quickly becomes more clunky and slow than almost anything in Sonic. Tails can also use his 2 tails to hover in the air for short distances, but can't fly freely without the tornado. His tail is prehensile and powerful, able to chop through robots and use powerful combos by spinning his tail, though he isn't afraid to use his hands and feet to attack. He can propel his tails behind him to increase his speed, and can even navigate through Sonic's greatest weakness, water. His tech comes up in battle beyond the Cyclone alone, though. He also has the Magic Hook, which is a boxing glove on a chain that he smacks people with. The Big Hand, which is a big hand that Tails forms from the ground in front of him, and he flicks the person into the air. And then the Energy Cannon, which is summoned onto his hand, and it can be used to fire a powerful energy shot at his enemy. Tails can also throw dummy rings at the enemies, which explode if touched. However, this likely won't be of too much help, since Luigi doesn't really have too much use for the rings that Sonic characters use. The ability can simply be used to throw them at Luigi, though. Now, the apparent rules of this fight state that the iconic items are not to be included, and I don't know if that means they're going to count the emeralds or not. As a loophole, the ones that Tails uses are the Super Emeralds, not the Chaos Emeralds. However, with them, Tails can go into his super form for a short time, glowing gold and gaining 4 golden birds that will attack enemies. It also increases his speed and power hugely with the super transformation that we've already seen taken into account. That said, beyond those, Tails doesn't have too much in terms of equipment. He usually makes do with what I've already said, plus physical stats. That said, on his own, he's a bit lackluster in stats. His strength is capable of breaking metal robots on foot, but other than that, he leaves the strength work to his teammates like Sonic and Knuckles. His durability is subpar when outside of his mech, as he really lacks many durability feats. He hasn't been hit by much. His speed, though, is his saving grace. Just by running next to Sonic, he's extremely fast, though the comics make it very clear that Sonic is much faster than Tails. This brings the speed gap between Mario and Sonic much closer for Luigi versus Tails. Now, Tails is a true intellect, known for creating machines and be able to analyze enemies for weak points. He tends to do very well with research and by using prior information to come up with smart ways to counter enemies and defeat them. Despite his young age of only 8, he's on par with the likes of Eggman in weapon design and machine programming. For experience, he's had quite a few adventures with Sonic, though tends to stay on the sidelines for the biggest battles, which have shown that quite often he relies on others. Despite that, though, he's a tremendous help, helping Sonic and Knuckles defeat Metal Overlord. Though Sonic was in super form at the time, he's assisted Sonic in beating Robotnik many times, and he saved Sonic by going through a military-esque robot army on Prison Island. He's not without his own victories, though. He defeated Eggman on his own in Eggman's smaller mech in Sonic Adventure 2, as well as the Egg Walker in Adventure 1. In his own smaller games, Tails defeated the Cuckoo and their leaders, Great Battle Cuckoo the 15th and 16th. Think Bird Hitler and you've basically got a good picture of him. He also beat the witch Wendy Witchcart, showing he's no pushover just because Sonic isn't there to help. Overall, though, I feel like when compared, Luigi is way too much for the guy. Luigi counters almost everything Tails has, even without the Chaos Heart. Tails goes Super Tails, Luigi goes Intangible. Tails flies, Luigi brings him down with the Thunder Hand Uppercut. Tails uses his mech or the Energy Cannon, Luigi will deflect the blasts with his hammer. Even then, Luigi's stats make him extraordinarily hard to kill, even if Tails manages to hit him. Luigi's just a jack of all trades, making finding any exploitable weakness a very difficult task. In addition, Tails lacks the information or prep that he's used to, almost recreating the issues that Batman had. And even his speed will be nulled by the negative zone. It doesn't help that Luigi's cowardice is replicated by Tails' own fear of ghosts and lightning, which are two things that Luigi's actually capable of slinging at the fox. If I had to guess, the fight's going to end up with Luigi using the Poltergust on Tails' spirit as a little extra kick. That said, happy year of Luigi. Everyone, have a good one.